even though I showed it didn't hurt me, it was jacking me up. I'm sure there's a lot out there. But it's my job now to take these weak people in the category that I was in and say, stop reading the bullshit. Stop listening to the bullshit. And if my story of success can impact somebody, it is my job, it's my duty to share the story. As much as I'm not really fond of it, I'm the kind of guy that wants to sit in the fucking room and just be me. Just be me, alone, by myself. It's who I am. But I have to get uncomfortable and tell people all this shit. You think it feels good telling people I had a 4th grade reading level in high school? I stuttered. I lied to people to be their fucking friends. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good at all. But maybe someone's doing the same shit. And maybe they can realize, wow, that motherfucker was a piece of shit. And he fucking now is a Navy SEAL, retired guy, and runs these miles and was 297 pounds and pathetic fucker, and wow. And people say, why are you talking so? It's the fucking truth. I was a fucking pathetic motherfucker, man. People cannot say that to themselves. We have to choose these great fucking magical words that make people feel good. Tell yourself the truth. If someone calls you fucking fat, they may be bullying you, but you might be fucking fat. Someone calls you dumb, it's mean, but you might be fucking dumb. It's life, man. Take it for what it's worth and change it.
And that terrible feeling when someone does tell you that you're fat, you can use that as fuel.
As fuel, period. And that's all this is about. And where it goes, if it goes somewhere and whatever, you know, I don't give a shit. It's my 40% rule, man.
I love that quote.
That's my 40% rule, man. And I really developed that through my heart surgeries, and I developed that through that first 100-mile run. And I thought I had given 100%. When I was on that chair at mile 70, I was fucked up. I thought I'd given 100%. And to go that last, I go, man, I wasn't even near 100%. So I came up with this thing called the 40% rule. And it's basically where it's like a car. You put a governor on a car. And let's say the car can go 130. That governor stops the car at 91. And you're driving thinking, man, I want to fucking floor it, but I can't go any faster. We do that to our brain. We put a governor on our brain. The second we feel pain, discomfort, suffering, all those words that we hate to say because we have this happy, peaceful world we live in now, we stop. We slow down. And if you can get through these different barriers and gain 5%, 2%, 3%, that 40% becomes 60. That 60% becomes 70, 80, and 90. And then you'll hopefully one day near 100. I don't know many people who are probably at 100. We think we're there, but there's so much more.
Isn't 100 at death's door, though?
I love that. I think it's true. I think that's 100% true.
I think when you were laying in that tub, you'd knocked on a door.
That is 100% true. No one has ever, that is 100% true. I didn't give 100% in that 101-mile run I did for the first time. So that's the scary thing. That's the scariest thing in the world. I didn't die. At David Goggins, man. And what changed, I came home and watched this Discovery Channel show, Class 224. I came home from Steak and Shake. I sprayed it down last, get a big old large 42-ounce shake, walk across the street and get a box of mini donuts from 7-Eleven, and I would drive home for 45 minutes. This big old fat guy who, yeah, I worked out, but I was fat. I didn't run, didn't PT, I just hit the gym. So I'm driving home, turn the TV on, and what comes on, Discovery Channel show, and that's where everything changed for me. I was taking a shower, I walked out, heard these guys, and I watched the show, and it made me reflect big time on the piece of shit that I am, and I'm exactly what people said I was gonna be. No one's gonna fucking come to help me. No one's gonna fucking come to help me. It's fucking me against me, period. And so I had to man up, and I said, the first thing I gotta start doing is facing every fucking fear I have. No matter what the fuck it is, man. And these things would keep me up at night. No one, people who are hearing this shit, they will never really understand and grasp when you face these things and so many things, how they keep you up and haunt you at night. I had two options. To either be that 300-pound guy who sprayed for cockroaches and made $1,000 a month, and at 24 years old, knowing when I'm 50 fucking years old, I can reflect on this and think about what guy I never became, or I can totally just sack it up and fail and fail and fail until I succeed. And I was 6'1" and 297. And I had prior service, which was a big deal. So I called all these recruiters up, and all of them said, hey, how tall are you, blah, 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 blah. They got into conversation to see if I was even qualified. And by the time I got to my weight, phone would hang up pretty much, like, hey, you know what, call somebody else, you know, try to get in the reserves. So I tried to get in the reserves. And I called this guy named Steven Salgio, recruiter, up, and he said, hey, come on in. He saw me, put me through the weight standard, all this other stuff, and to get into the class I had to get into, I had to lose 106 pounds in less than 3 months. So I was like, fuck that, I can't do that. I grabbed my chocolate milkshake and went back to Ecolab. I'm going back to work, man. This is my life. And I sat there and I said, this is my life. I said, this is my life. You are exactly who the fuck, this is it. And I said, this ain't gonna be it for me. So in that restaurant, I quit my job, left my canister in that restaurant, my spray canister, got back in my Ecolab truck, and I went home. And I started working out like somebody, I became the most obsessed person on the planet Earth. And I was basically, I had to invent a guy that didn't exist. I had to invent a guy that can take any pain, any suffering, any kind of judgment, be called whatever the fuck in the world, and be able to stand in the fucking room and say, go fuck yourself. I had to build this callous mind, and I built it through suffering. I built it through downright fucking just crushing myself. If it was raining outside at 3 o'clock in the fucking morning, if it was snowing, the first instinct is don't go out there and do shit. My instinct was, we gotta fucking go out there. Anything that was fucking horrible in my life that I would normally say no, that was inhumane to most people, I had to go do it. And I started callousing my mind at this point in my life. And I lost the weight. And I went back to recruiter. I got into that class, and I went through 3 Navy SEAL Hell Weeks in 1 year. Only guy to ever be in 3 Hell Weeks in 1 year, to my knowledge. The first one I didn't make it through. The next 2 I did. And that I just didn't. I didn't stop anymore from there. And I started realizing through this process that the fucking mind is what you created.